All right, 2.3. So in the ready, you guys are having to write with an exponent. So we did this a little bit in module 1. So I'm going to go over it briefly, but not so briefly that you'll be lost. Pay attention to where it says simplify when possible, meaning if you can actually figure out what the cube root of a number is or the square root of a number is, please make sure that you actually do that. So don't forget when we're writing radicals with rational exponents. If I have the cube root of x, this is actually x to the 1/3. So the number that is your exponent inside the inside the square root is your numerator, and the radical is your denominator. Then from there, you guys can finish the problem. However, if I look at number 4, so that's what you guys are going to do in 1 through 3. But when I get to number 4, separate up your numbers because some of these you guys can actually simplify, and I want you to simplify them. So the cube root of 8. We need to know what the cube root of 8 is, and that is 2. Then this is r to the 6/3. Well, 6/3 is 2. So that's what is meant by simplify when possible. So you'll use the same thing for 5. On number 3, I strongly suggest that you distribute your 2. So that way you would end with 64x squared, and then you still have the cube root of that value. And then you guys can finish from there. And then number 7, rewrite it. If you cannot cube root 9, which you can't, then write it as 9 to the 1/3. Then you would write b to the 8/3. So that's all it's asking you to do, okay? Don't worry too much about anything else. If, oh, I can't simplify it, it's okay. You will not be able to simplify everything. And then on 28, I don't know why I said 28. Number 8, I want you to remember, or need you to remember, there's an invisible 2 outside a square root. Now 75, this is 25 times 3, and I can square root 25. So this is 5. Then it's 3 to the 1/2. Now let me explain why it's 3 to the 1/2. This is the square root of 25 times the square root of 3. So that's the 75 broken up. This is 5. I cannot do anything with the 3, so it's still the square root of 3. There's an invisible 2, and there's a 1. So that's 3 to the 1/2. So I go times 3 to the 1/2. And then it's x to the 6/2. And then you need to simplify that. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I'm not going to finish it, but I want you guys to have a good place to start. So hopefully that will help you guys with those ones in your homework. Now these ones, rewrite with a fractional exponent, then find the answer. What is meant by that? So I'm going to have log base 3. This is 3 to the 1/5. Now you're going to be using the properties and the nice little shortcuts we have been learning in class with logs. And when you have a base to the same number, those cancel. So I'm left with 1/5. So you're going to go through. That was an easy one because those were the same value. But when they're not the same value, for example, if I have a log base 3 of, let's say it's the square root of 27. I cannot square root 27, but I am going to rewrite it. So log base 3, 27 to the 1/2. Now, 27, I can rewrite 27. 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. Therefore, it is 3 cubed. So log base 3 of 3 cubed times 1/2. So you have to make sure you remember to bring the 1/2 back down. So I rewrote the 27. I'll highlight it. 27 is this 3 cubed. What I highlighted goes together. Now I can cancel that, and I am left with 3 times 1/2, which is 3/2. So that would be my answer. So that's what you guys are going to use in the remainder of the go. I want you to try them, please. If you need help, make sure you come in and see me or ask in class tomorrow. And if we have time, I will go over them. All right, for the set, these are the properties we've been going over in class. When it says use the properties of logarithms to expand the expression as a sum or difference and or constant multiples of logarithms, that means we want to write this with one or more log. So you need to remember, if I have a log of x, y, this is the same as log of x plus the log of y. And I'm not worried about writing the little base at the bottom. Whatever that is, you would just rewrite it. So if there's a base here, you would just rewrite the base. But I'm not worried about that right now. You can deal with that in your homework. It's not going to change anything. That is our product property. Then we also have the quotient property. Let me label this. Product property of logarithms. Now let's talk about the quotient property of logarithms. Quotient property. If I have the log of x divided by y, this is the same as log of x minus the log of y. And again, your base would go to all of the logs, so you're not going to change the base. So when you're looking at 15 and 16, these are the quotient property. And for the product property, you're looking at 13 and 14. So I want you to make an effort on those. I am not going to do those for you. Now, when you can cancel something, you need to recognize when it cancels. For example, if I have a log base 7 of 7, this is going to go away. It doesn't give us 0 because there's an invisible exponent here, and it will equal 1. So you want to get in the habit of recognizing all of the properties of logarithms. And we will be making a foldable for this, so that way you guys can keep all of your properties in one place, and you'll have examples that go with them. You're going to continue that here. Now, we also have what is called the power property. So the power property is when I have a log of, I'll just make it up, x squared. That is going to become 2 log of x. You move your exponent to the front of the log. So this will work every single time. You just have to remember when and how to use the properties. So if I'm looking at something a little more complex like I am in these ones, like in 17, all I have to do is move that to the front. Now I'm done. But in 18, you actually have multiplication here. You have to write this as 2 separate logs. Because it's multiplication, I'm going to rewrite it as addition. So log base 5 of x squared. Now I'm not done because I can take my exponent and I have to move it to the front of that log and only that log. So please, please, please be careful with that. I need you guys to make sure you are checking your answers for these ones. If you go through and you practice all of these properties wrong, but you think you are doing them right, it is really going to suck when you guys are taking a quiz or a test. You have to make sure you are using the properties correctly. When you see division, make sure you write it as subtraction. So division becomes subtraction. multiplication is going to become addition. Exponents move to the front. A lot of properties that you guys need to be familiar with. And it's okay to take something and, so 21, I'll do 21 with you guys. So I first see that I have a fraction. So this is log base 5 of xyz minus log base 5 of w. But I'm not done because I still have 3 different multiplications here. I have an x, I have a y, and I have z. So I have to write those separately. And how do you separate multiplication? If I look back here, multiplication becomes addition. So I'm going to write this as 3 separate additions. Log base 5 of x plus log base 5 of y plus log base 5 of z. Then it's minus the log base 5 of w. So please don't overthink these. You're probably not going to have enough room to do some of these because they require a little bit more work. But use your properties. Please make sure you look back at your notes that we did in class. Look for patterns. Okay, we got to get these properties down. All right, the go. Exponential and logarithmic form. This is going to be very quick notes here. Don't forget, if I have log base b of x equals y, I can rewrite it in b to the y equals x. That's all I'm giving you for this one. You're just rewriting it. That's all you have to do. So all of these ones are in, and now it's not telling you, but they're in exponential. You have to rewrite it as a log. And then 28 through 30, you're writing in exponential. So you're just rewriting them. You're not doing anything else. This is just to review. Do we remember how to go back and forth? All right, and that concludes 2.3. If you have questions, come and see me. Bye.